Welcome to Travel Secrets with me, Tanya Rose, the podcast sharing wisdom for fellow travellers. Each week, I ask my guests to reveal their 6 travel secrets and the holidays and adventures that surround them. I would just like to say thank you to Mason Rose, the sales and communication agency that represents some of the finest hotels around the world, for partnering with Travel Secrets, the podcast. Today, my guest is Sam McKnight, the legendary hairstylist. He's just celebrated 50 years of being in business, which is just
50 years.
Unbelievable.
50 years this month.
Is it this month? Mm-hmm. Oh, congratulations. And you are so famed for so many things, from changing Princess Diana's hair into looking like a sleek goddess, working with Vivienne Westwood, working with Karl Lagerfeld, 200 covers of Vogue, working with amazing photographers. You have traveled the world, and I cannot wait to hear your travel secrets. Welcome, Sam.
Can't wait to share them.
Before we get into them, perhaps you can tell us a little bit about yourself and how travel has impacted the person you've become. Did you grow up traveling? Let's just talk about you for a little while.
I didn't grow up traveling. I am from Scotland. I'm from a very small mining community in the country in the south of Scotland, the beautiful Ayrshire countryside. And travel for me was, my dad had an old Morris Minor. OAG 642 was the registration. There you go. And then he got a Hillman Minx. And a car was a luxury for us back then that was the 60s. So we'd get to go to Ayr, which has beautiful beaches. So that was my first taste of travel. And then we'd go further afield to Blackpool. So Blackpool was just felt like from a mining village in south of Scotland. Blackpool was it was like the Las Vegas.
Yes, absolutely. The bright lights of Blackpool.
I mean, back then, all those places were thriving, you know. It was before people actually traveled abroad, you know. So that was the taste of travel I got. And I didn't travel anywhere till I didn't go abroad till I was about 20 years old, something like that. I think I'd been on a school trip to Belgium, but my first holiday was on Dan to the Amalfi Coast.
Dan Air. I have forgotten the name of Dan Air.
Yeah,
Gosh, extraordinary.
Yeah. I remember we flew to Rome and drove to Naples. When I think about it now, because I go to Italy a lot now, and I've done that journey on the train, and everything is so modern now in Italy. But back then, it was horses plowing the fields, you know. It was quite
rural.
It was very rural, yeah. Rural.
It's quite hard to say that, isn't it? Rural.
It really was. It was a different time. So, yeah, I was very lucky.
And you came down from Scotland to London and started working at Molton Brown, is that right?
I worked, before that, I worked at Miss Selfridge on Regent Street. They had a salon in there, and I loved it. It was great. Then I blagged a job at Elizabeth Arden, which was on Bond Street. And then I got a job in Molton Brown, and that was just bliss for 3 years I worked there. And I still see a lot of the people that I worked with, actually.
It was a wonderful time, Molton Brown. I remember. South Molton Street was so cool. Yeah. And Brown's opposite.
And Brown's. And it was the same company pretty much. And we used to just spend our wages on a Friday night in Brown's. So it was circular.
Yeah, it was so good, wasn't it? It was just a wonderful time. And Miss Selfridge, I remember I used to live in the countryside, and I used to come up and spend my pocket money either in Miss Selfridge or in Fiorucci,
right?
Which was just coming up at the time. So those were the days.
Or Bieber, even.
Yes, Bieber. Oh my goodness, Bieber was the most incredible place.
It's hard to explain Bieber, isn't it? It's hard to explain, to describe. It's hard to describe to someone now exactly what it was like. And it was that whole building at Kensington High Street. Exactly. It wasn't just a shop. It was like a theme park. It was an experience. Yeah.
Was it where the roof gardens is? No,
it's
the
roof gardens. The roof gardens was Bieber.
Yeah, wasn't it? Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, those were the days. And actually now the only time that people talk about Bieber is on the Antiques Roadshow, when somebody's got the costumes and they say, oh, this is something I bought in Bieber, or this is an old Vivienne Westwood thing. Let's get into your travel secrets. What's the number one destination you think everyone should go to once in their lifetime?
I think everyone should go to Italy. I think Italy is it's so different from north to south. The food, the whole experience of Italy. The Italians are great, you know, the coastline, the Tuscany countryside, the history, the ruins in Rome, the sort of industry in Milan. And sometimes when I'm in Milan for Fashion Week, if we've got a couple of days free in the middle, which we often do, we'll get on the train and go up to Como and have lunch in March, and the snow's still on the Alps, but it's a little warmer on the lake. It's just so beautiful. And it's not very big. So traveling by train in Italy is so easy. Yeah. It's so easy. It's so much easier than here, and relatively inexpensive and really reliable. So I would recommend the whole of Italy.
The whole of Italy.
From Sicily up to Como.
Yeah, I just adore it as well.
Yeah.
We have a lovely hotel on Lake Como too, actually. Pass all'Acqua, that won Best Hotel in the World last year, and Grand Hotel Tremezzo. We look after Portrait Milan. Have you been there?
No, I don't know.
It's fantastic. It's Ferragamo Hotel.
I'll
when you're going
to
Fashion Week, you absolutely must pop in there. Do you do lots of shoots in Milan?
We do lots of shows in Milan, yeah.
So where do you normally stay when you go there?
I stayed for years at the Park Hyatt. I stayed for years at the Baglioni. I kind of change every few years.
Well, do try the Portrait Milan. It's absolutely fantastic. You'll love it. Absolutely love it. So Italy's the number one destination.
Italy's the number one destination.
And it's difficult to find one place to say, isn't it? Because Venice is as lovely as Florence, as lovely as Rome. So
it's also a bit, but Rome, there's something magical and special about Rome, about the light in Rome, even in the winter. Rome is fantastic in the winter. And those kind of murmurations of starlings in the evening are just magic, aren't they? Those sort of shapes that they do. It's beautiful. And they seem to be really prolific in Rome.
I love the Hassler Hotel, which is at the top of the Spanish Steps. I mean, the views from their terrace are just amazing. I agree with you. Italy's a wonderful place. What's your most unexpected travel experience?
Apart from getting stuck on the Eurostar for 16 hours in the famous delay where 7 trains were stuck in the tunnel. That was borderline nightmare, that was. That was unexpected. But we love Eurostar. It's an amazing creation. It's fantastic. I mean, it's changed the lives of so many, hasn't it? It's made Paris and London so much closer, till Brexit, that is. That was most unexpected, but in a different kind of unexpected. I have been really lucky enough to do most of my traveling for work over the years and have the most incredible travel experiences that I wouldn't have been able to have in any other job or role. You know, I traveled a lot with Vogue magazine through the 80s and 90s. One particular trip with British Vogue, we did a whitewater rafting. No, it wasn't whitewater. It was just a rafting. The whitewater it was the season when it wasn't so rough because we were shooting. We had one raft for clothes and one raft for the team with a wonderful photographer called Sheila Metzner, whose pictures are just fabulous. And we had a week on the Green River, starting in Utah and ending up, I think, somewhere in Nevada.
Amazing.
It was wilderness, so you weren't allowed to sort of leave anything. We had to sort of carry a bucket with all our waste in it wherever we went. It wasn't to go in the river. It was very, very eco-friendly. And that was 30 odd years ago. So we spent a week doing that. And it was, we shared tents. I shared a tent with Mary Greenmore, luckily my dear friend, the makeup artist. And we didn't fall out much. But we slept in tents under the stars, and we kind of camped around a fire, and someone played a guitar, and we sang songs at night and lit fires, and then moved on to the next location through these incredible, Western American canyons. It was just fantastic. I mean, thank God it wasn't the sort of high whitewater season, because we wouldn't have been able to do it, because in January this year, I went proper whitewater rafting in Costa Rica.
Did you?
Yes. I now travel for myself, not so much for work, because there aren't those fabulous trips so much anymore, because budgets are being cut and it's a different world. So I travel myself, not by myself, for myself, although I'm quite happy to travel by myself too. We went whitewater rafting and zip lining up by the volcano in Costa Rica.
You're so brave.
Oh, it was amazing. It was incredible. It was something I'm doing bucket list now.
Yes.
Okay, I'm 70 years old,
Bucket
list time. And the bucket list and the luck, I think travel has now become the sort of epitome of luxury. You know, it's not about an expensive jacket or bag or whatever for me. I've done all that. Yeah. It's now about times and experiences. Yeah. And I'd never done river rafting, whitewater rafting properly before. So, oh my God, it was amazing. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. And of course we fell in, and the water was warm. And you're kind of going through the slow bits, and you see the monkeys and the anteaters in the trees, and it's just incredible. It's an incredible, exhilarating experience, and you feel like you've achieved something afterwards.
I think that's amazing. And then zip wiring, wow.
Zip lining, yeah. Well, you go through the canopy, and you sort of, I think we did about 13 zips, if that's what you call them. And you see these sort of 10-year-old kids doing it. You think, right, okay, I can do that. I can do that. And I did it. And the first one's quite sort of scary because you don't quite know what to do and how to get off of them, but they help you. And it's just the most fantastic experience. I urge people to do stuff they've not done before, because there's nothing quite so invigorating and energizing as feeling like you've achieved something you never thought you might do. Yeah.
Out your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. Where did you stay in Costa Rica? I can't remember what they're called. We stayed in a lodge up by the volcano and just kind of traveled every day. And then we stayed in a not so great place. Did you stay at the Nyara camps? They're the best ones.
I didn't
They're
stay
amazing.
at the Nyara. Oh, it may have been.
The first one sounds as if it might have been.
The first one was very, very nice.
Yeah, I bet it was.
And then we rented a house for a week. We rented a villa for a week, which was gorgeous, you know.
Bucket list stuff.
There aren't so many great hotels in Costa Rica, I don't think.
No, there aren't.
No,
the Nyara group is definitely up there, but there are lots of not so good ones. But it's still a place that I want to go.
We stayed in a smaller place, which was actually really nice. It was great.
What's your most overrated or underrated travel?
I'd probably give you one of each. I say my most overrated, and this was 30 years ago, was Rio in Brazil. Oh. It was kind of a big city on the beach, and it was really busy. Maybe I didn't quite get to sort of feel the real Rio. It just felt quite dangerous, but not in a good way. But I'd like to do Brazil again. I went to Brasîlia and Iguazu. Brasîlia was incredible. In fact, I was talking to someone about that the other day, and Iguazu's just magnificent.
Yeah,
Rio, I didn't fall in love with Rio.
What were you doing there?
I was with Princess Diana, actually, when she did a visit there. But the hotel we stayed in, the Copacabana Beach Hotel, was amazing.
Yeah, that's the best one on the beach,
that was
isn't it?
amazing.
Yeah.
But Rio itself, the other places in Brazil, like Brasîlia, Iguazu, incredible. But Rio, I guess I had such huge expectations of Rio and from movies, and maybe I didn't get the chance to experience it but I have a Brazilian friend, and I keep saying, okay, we're all going to go to Brazil one year.
And he takes you, probably will see the real.
Different experience, yeah.
And what's your underrated?
I think underrated for me, it's got to be the UK. I mean, we have the most incredible cities, countries, landscapes here. And I love going out the country with a dog. I love even up the Thames to Henley and Marlow, those kind of places. And I'm going down to Sussex at the weekend. I drive to Scotland a lot, stop in the Lake District for a cup of tea. And I mean, we've got those cities in Scotland, like Edinburgh, and the Hebrides and the Western Isles. This country is so beautiful and breathtaking. It's a bit like Italy. It's not a huge country. It's easy to drive, and each area changes quite drastically from one to another. Well, the weather changes, the landscape changes. Tourists come here and enjoy it, but I think British people don't, and I'm guilty of that, as not exploring it as much as I probably should. But I think as I've gotten older, I appreciate it more, and I'm really interested in exploring. I got the train to, where did we go to the other day? We went to Highgrove the other day for a perfume launch. Yeah. So we got the train to there, and we were all sitting on the train, just said, oh my God, this countryside is so breathtaking.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
I love the English countryside. I think we've got better since COVID, actually.
Well,
because that's when we had to start staycationing.
Absolutely couldn't agree with you more, because I've spent my life traveling.
Yeah.
But working with Karl, I was in Paris 5-6 times a month.
Oh, really? A month?
Yeah. I mean, I was away from home more than 6 months of the year.
Really?
I was traveling, yeah. And you know, traveling is not always glamorous.
No.
Traveling can be really quite stressful.
Especially when you're taking the models and the clothes and everything.
The 6 bags of hair stuff
Yeah.
and God knows what, or more, 60 bags of hair stuff. Not quite. During COVID, that all stopped for everyone. So there was no guilt of turning a job down because the jobs weren't there. And I remember I had my 65th birthday in the May. So it was a couple of months in. And I'd had COVID, but very gently. And I had an epiphany. Because I have a very nice big garden in London, and I love gardening. I love being outside. And I was sowing my seeds, watching them grow. Normally, I'll sow them, watch them grow for a bit, then they get really leggy and I have to throw them away because I've got to go away. But now I was there, and the light went on. I thought, oh, okay, there is another world. There's another life I would like to explore. So I kind of pulled back and also we launched our hair products. So my kind of world sort of naturally, the balance it rebalanced, and I wanted it to rebalance. And that's when I started realizing I was traveling for myself more rather than for work.
Yeah.
And it's a different thing. It's a bit more.
The pace is different.
Yes, it's your own pace. Yeah. You're not dancing to the drum of somebody else. You're making your own decisions and pace. Yeah.
No, I think that happened for everybody, really, didn't it?
Yeah.
And we didn't have a choice. So actually, it was a thing
forced.
to recalibrate.
So it was a natural evolution for me. And I think in my business, things never went back to, because I think big clients saw there was a cheaper way of doing things. And I think AI is probably going to force that down even further, you know. And of course there's still travel and but it's I don't think we'll ever hit that peak again of how it was.
And actually you were living it during that amazing time. I mean, the fashion shows and things in the times you were doing.
No, it was absolutely, I mean.
Karl Lagerfeld's fashion shows were just
I was very lucky to be part of that, yeah.
And also you did Vivienne Westwood.
I did Vivienne for 30 years,
I mean, hers really were, well, they both were actually. They were shows. They were real pieces of art, really, weren't they?
We did one just after Karl passed away, which was really memorable in Rome, again, at night, in front of the Colosseum. And we had 54 models, all they'd taken one outfit from every collection he'd ever done for Fendi, which was 54 years. So one from every year. We matched the color of the wig to the outfit, which was all kind of Roman marble. So they all had marble tones. And it was emotional because it was the first one he wasn't there for. So it was a tribute to him. In Rome, and it was hot. And the girls were wearing wigs, and we were all thinking, oh God, this is going to be a nightmare. Actually, it was magical because it magically was when the sun went down, the cooler air came in and the lights at the Colosseum came on, and it was magical. I keep using that word magical.
No, but
Rome
how
just
amazing.
is, isn't it? You know,
I think
the
I remember seeing the pictures of that.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to be invited to one of his shows in Paris, but it was the one when he was ill just before he died.
Right.
It was magnificent. It really
the
was.
Alpine one.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was incredible. Yeah. But I was so excited to see him. He wasn't there because he wasn't well, but it was wonderful. Yeah. And then we had lunch at the Ritz.
Well, they were spectacles, weren't they? It was like a
film.
Big film production. Yeah, it really
absolutely.
was. Yeah, and it was all kind of dismantled in and out in a week or so, or a couple of weeks. Yeah, I know.
Let's go on to food and drink. It's so much part of travel. Where do you like eating? What do you like eating? What do you drink? Let's just talk about food and travel.
I love pasta. So anywhere in Italy is fantastic for pasta. I mean, there's a cafe on the Piazza del Popolo in Rome where you can just sit and eat a pasta and watch the amazing Romans go by and the tourists. It's quite fantastic. I spend a lot of time in Ibiza during the summer, and I love to go around the little chiringuitos. And there's one at, I think it's Ponce de Leon. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it in Spanish, where it's literally on a very small bay, and you turn up and queue up and have whatever the fish of the day is and a bit of Spanish omelette or tapas or whatever. And recently I have been partial to, I don't drink. I haven't drank for 30 odd years, but I've recently discovered non-alcoholic gin.
Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Oh my God.
Tastes exactly like
Seedlip. Yeah. There's one called Garden, which is kind of herby. It's so nice. And I discovered in the British Airways lounge at Gatwick. And I had a Tanqueray Sevilla, which was absolutely delicious.
So they're doing Tanqueray Zero.
Tanqueray Sevilla, 0 alcohol, with a bit of lemon, tonic water, and some mint.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah.
I've had the Gordon's one, which is fantastic.
Right.
I mean, it tastes, I think, exactly without the effects. So, yes, very good. Because actually the champagnes and the wines don't taste
I was
as
never
good.
really, I didn't really like, it wasn't the taste I was drinking for when I drank it, was the effect, which was the problem. So I now don't drink. But the non-alcohol, I wouldn't have a non-alcoholic wine or a beer. I don't know, it's not the taste. But the gin it just tastes like a nice herbal remedy drink.
Yeah. And it's nice and long and
lovely.
Do you go to Ibiza because you have a house there, or you just go there
No, I've
on
rented the
holiday?
same house there for almost 20 years up in the north. I mean, sadly, a lot of the little local independent restaurants are kind of disappearing, and they're turning into sort of shishi, far too expensive, bad service, bad food places. But there's still enough of the local little places to go to where you don't have to book. I mean, I go on holiday. I don't want to book a restaurant for Thursday night at 9 o'clock because I don't want to feel like,
a restaurant you can have in London either.
I don't want to go and see everyone that I would see if I went to somewhere in Knightsbridge, So nothing wrong with that, but I'm on holiday and I'm kind of, if I'm local, I like to feel more authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do what the locals do. Actually, I had Luke Evans on the podcast, and he first went to Ibiza and absolutely hated it. But then he went back again with Kelly Hoppen, who lives there, and he loved it so much that he bought a house.
Right, there you go.
And now he said he now does the things that all the locals do. He loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you have anywhere in England that you like going to eat, or restaurants or hangout places?
I mean, since I worked in South Molton Street in the 70s, on a Saturday morning, once a month on a Saturday morning, we'd save up our pennies and we'd all have, about 6 of us would have breakfast in Claridge's in the 70s. And that Claridge's thing has always stayed with me because I'm there quite a lot doing hair for celebrities when they're staying there. And I got an MBE last year, and I took my sister and a couple of friends to Claridge's and had little lunch afterwards, because it's just Claridge's, isn't it? There's nothing quite like it.
That lobby is beautiful.
Oh, it's absolutely divine, and the service is great. It's the perfect quintessential English hotel, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And when you say you do a lot of celebrities when they're coming over, so do you still do that?
I do. I mean, I don't do as much as I used to do, but I have a lot of regular clients that I've known for a long time, and quite often they stay there. I mean, we had Mary Greenwell, myself had a dinner there last year with Cindy Crawford, Christy Turlington, Naomi Campbell, and Linda Evangelista, who we all kind of grew up together in the 80s in New York. Amazing. And we all hadn't been in the same room for probably 25 years. And we had about 4 hours there where we just sat around a table up in the back, and we laughed and we cried, and we talked about people who are no longer with us, and we talked about stories that the other one didn't know anything about. And it was really, really nice, because in this business, I've met a lot of people that I'm still very good friends with to this day. You may not see each other for a few years, but you still have that bond that you make when you're younger.
Absolutely. And you're all coming up through.
Yeah.
Actually,
We all
when
had shared
Lucinda
experiences. I met.
She was at that time, wasn't she?
I met Lucinda when she was assistant to the beauty editor, and I was at Molton Brown, and we were doing a beauty shoot for Vogue, which is when I was at Molton Brown, is how I got first started with Vogue. And we used Lucinda as a model, and we cut her hair and gave her a little sort of punky hairstyle. And I think she was about 17. So I've known Lucinda and loved Lucinda ever since then.
She's just so fabulous. Yeah. When she did this podcast, when I ask you to bring a photograph afterwards, you'll tell me your photograph. She bought 5 albums. And we were going through the albums, and she was showing me actually photographs, and it might well have been the trip you were talking about, water rafting. And then she was in Ladakh with Cindy Crawford and doing all these incredible things. I mean, those were the days. They really, really were.
Yeah.
How lovely. Well, that sounds amazing. Let's go on to your top travel tip. What's your top travel tip?
I would say take a few books or a Kindle. I mean, because reading, I can get lost in a book on a plane. That gets me through. I have no fear of long flights because I'll take 2 or 3 books and I could read a whole book, maybe 2 on a long flight. And if you have to sit and wait, if your flight's delayed, read a book, not your screen. I think a book is the thing that gets me out of any stress of travel. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't read, then that's quite difficult. And I would say travel as lightly as possible when you're traveling for yourself. No, you don't.
I can't do it.
I've learned to do that.
I try, but I totally agree with you on books. And my summer holiday every year is in the south of France, and I read a book a day.
Yeah.
And it's the only time of year I read.
I couldn't agree more.
And I actually read biographies and autobiographies. Yeah. That's what I like.
I'm just reading Graydon Carter's.
So am I. So am I. Isn't it brilliant? It's fantastic. I've got him and I've got Keith McNally's going at the same time. But I send a box of books to the Colombe d'Or where I stay because they're so heavy to carry. And then I just leave them for other people to read. But it is my joy.
Travel light. I take an extra bag with books in it to Ibiza. I think I read 14 last year.
Did you?
In my 2 weeks,
I
read a book, just about a book a day. Yeah.
But it's the only time that you have that headspace. And I don't like reading on the screen because I'm on a screen all day long.
I'm exactly the same.
Yeah. And I actually get because I'm reading autobiographies or sometimes how-to books, I've got my pen underscoring. My husband's like, oh, you're solving the world again, are you? What have you learned this time? So
I think for me, it's a book and a diptyque candle.
Oh, yes. Do you take that with you when you travel?
Yeah.
Do you? Which one?
I like fig. I like beige.
I like beige.
If I'm going somewhere hot, the tuberose is nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, do you take the little mini one?
No, I take a normal size one because
you don't travel light then.
Well, it's just one. I'm not going to say 2.
And actually, can I ask your advice on hair and travel? Because obviously you've got these amazing products.
Yeah.
What should you do to protect your hair? I mean, what's the one thing that you should do? Should you mask or serum or?
The best thing you can do to protect your hair is to cover it from the sun. Yeah, especially if your hair is colored. A nice scarf or something. Or you could put some oil in it and pull it back into a braid and let that soak into your hair while you're in the sun. But I think you have to really, when you come out of the pool or the sea, rinse your hair with fresh water.
So you don't have chlorine.
So you don't have chlorine because the salt and the sun, the combination of that too, can be just as damaging as the chlorine.
And which one of your new products have you got that you think is the one that you should use?
Well, I think during the summer, I think it's really important to treat your hair to a mask at least once a week. I mean, maybe twice a week or every day if you are in and out of the sea or the pool. So we have a Deeper Love mask, and we also have a volumizing mask, which is called Bigger Love. So whatever you're looking for, either one of those.
And what's the oil thing you were telling me about that you've got, the sustainable
We
one?
also have a brand new scalp oil, which is nourishment for the scalp, because I think people are beginning to realize now that what we've known for a long time is that you need to treat your scalp the same way as you treat your face. It's all skin. And so our products are formulated to a skincare level. And the scalp oil it's a 10-minute pre-wash. It's not a hair oil. It's a 10-minute pre-wash oil, which you put on your scalp and you wash off after 10 minutes, because we need to do the same thing to the skin on our scalp as we do to our face, you know, and we tend to ignore that.
Yeah, we do.
And
Absolutely.
I think a sort of undernourished or too vigorously washed scalp without nourishing it can lead to sort of dry scalp and dandruff and unhealthy hair. Because a healthy scalp is healthy hair.
Healthy hair.
Yeah.
Well, I colour my hair, I blow dry my hair, I do everything. And I was in Istanbul last
I would
week.
too if I had it.
Yeah. You look marvellous. But when I was in Istanbul the other day, I said I wanted to blow dry, and they said, "Oh, your hair's very dry. We want you to put collagen in it." So they put this collagen in, and then they steamed my hair.
Yeah.
Then I had all this steam coming out. It was extraordinary. It felt very soft afterwards, I must say.
I'm sure, yeah. I bet it was amazing.
Yeah, it was lovely.
You're not going to do that yourself, though, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to do it back here either. It was because I was away somewhere glamorous, and I thought, let's do that.
You should try some leave-in conditioner, maybe, if you're on holiday, if your hair's really dry.
Have you got one of those?
We have. We've got Light Nourish and Light Cleanse. That's the shampoo and the conditioner. And I think that you can leave a little bit of the conditioner in your hair and comb it through before you blow dry, and that will keep it moisturized.
Thank you for the tip. And I asked you your top travel tips, so I know the other things, but those are very good top tips for me and for everyone listening, I think. Let's go on to your most poignant travel memory.
Well, probably some of my most poignant travel memories were, I traveled with Princess Diana for about 7 years. I met her in 1990, so I went to many places with her. I got to go to places that I would never have been able to go to. Hard to choose the most poignant, but we went to Pakistan. We went to Mother Teresa's in India, in Calcutta, and we went to the Taj Mahal with that famous picture of her sitting by herself. And the Taj Mahal was closed just for her and her party for the official visit. And so we got to see the Taj Mahal. With nobody. And probably one of the most poignant ones, though, was she went to highlight a refugee camp in northern Pakistan, which was one of the most beautiful and strangest places I have ever been. It was just incredible. The way that people look is just unbelievable, because it's the melting pot of all those different cultures and races and just the mix of colors of hair and the colors of clothes. It was just extraordinary. The refugee camp this was early 90s. So it was set up to, I think one of the newsreaders, and I can't remember his name, had started this refugee camp, and they opened a limb fitting center for children who'd had their limbs blown off by landmines, which were often, and I learned a lot, which were often planted in children's toys because they didn't want the boys to grow up to be fighters. I mean, it's absolutely horrendous. And watching that whole thing and being on the ground for that, and seeing the refugee camps, which were just like miles and miles and miles of tents, I'd seen it on TV, but you kind of get numbed to it. It's just on TV, but actually being in that situation was really emotional for me. But she was I couldn't understand why she wanted us to go with her. But then I realized she wanted us to see why we were there doing her hair and getting her ready. And she didn't have a big team. We were very, very small. She did her own makeup, but she wanted us to see what she did. Because it wasn't a jolly, it was there, and I was around the back in tears, because it was really, really in your face. It was really sad, but she was a natural nurse, if you like, a nurturing person, and wasn't outwardly phased by it at all. I'm sure inside could not affect you. But, and I used to say to her sometimes, you look great with no hair and makeup. Maybe don't do anything. She said, these people don't want to see me coming out of the gym. They want to see Princess Diana. So she knew the importance of what she was bringing to the whatever charity she was highlighting. That was a real kind of moment of understanding why people do things, because a lot of people see things like that and they'll think, oh, it's all ego. It's so not. It's so not. There's a role to play.
She really shone a light on the line.
Oh, she really did. Yeah.
I remember that walk.
Yeah.
I remember how she looked.
Yeah.
I remember everything,
Yeah.
but it really shone a light on that, didn't it?
It did.
How extraordinary.
Yeah.
And you did transform her. I mean, her hair before was, the boof and everything.
Well, she wanted to be, she wanted the change. It was 1990, and things changed, don't they? And
And that one photograph, was it Patrick?
Yeah, usually.
Demarchelier,
yeah.
And your hairstyle.
Yeah.
Was it on the front cover of Vogue?
It was.
It was amazing.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. Yeah. So before I let you go, I asked you to bring a photograph or tell us about a photograph and how that sums up travel.
I've got to give you my whitewater rafting photo, not taken by me, because they have these amazing guys on another raft taking pictures of everyone. And the pictures, and I thought, oh God, they're never gonna come out, these pictures. But we weren't allowed to take our phones with us in case we fell in. Of course. So they kind of held on to them for us. And the pictures were incredible. We got pictures and videos that were absolutely amazing. So I'm going to show you that picture at whitewater rafting at 70 years old. And if you think you can't do it, think again.
That's fantastic. I love that sentiment. And what is next for you? Where are you going next?
I'm off to Ibiza soon. And I've booked flights to Sri Lanka for New Year. I've been there before. And I mean, that's another place if you've never been to. It's just wonderful. And it's a small island. You can go up to Kandy, to the religious town in the north, drive through the tea plantations, get a wonderful train through the top of the mountains, and then spend a day in Yala Nature Reserve and sit there while elephants walk past you. You're that close to them. Amazing. And it's just magnificent. And then go down to Gal, to the coast. And there's lots of, I think we stayed in the fortress last time. Yeah. And the Amman. And there was somewhere else. I can't remember.
Those are the well-known ones, the Amman and the Fortress Hotel.
And they're right on the beautiful coastline. And I can't wait to go there again. This time, what I think I'm traveling with some people who've never been to the Maldives, and it's really close. So I think I might snatch a couple of days in the middle of there, because I think the Maldives is fantastic for a few days. Yeah.
There's a new resort opening at the beginning of the year, actually, called Dot Here, which is a private island with 8 or 10 private villas on it. So I'll send you the information on it. It's really lovely. Yeah. You'll love it. Yeah. And what's next for Sam McKnight business-wise and work-wise?
Next for Sam McKnight business-wise is our products are available. We're getting bigger in Europe. We're all over Europe now and in the Middle East. And the next big adventure for us is launching in Marks and Spencer's in September. Okay. So we're going to be in, I think, start off with about 60 Marks and Spencer stores throughout the UK, which is a big moment for me because I grew up with Marks and Spencer's and buy my boxers and socks in Marks and Spencer's to this day. So to go in there and buy my hair products is it's a bit of a circular.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. And so everyone listening can go to M&S and buy your things.
So we have a much wider distribution.
Oh, how exciting. That's wonderful. Well, it's been a joy and delight to go around the world with you and hear your travel tales. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been wonderful.
Thank you, Tanya. That was great. Thank you.
Thank you.